Good morning, everyone. I think I've met a lot of you. Just a quick background about me. I've been in the insurance business for over 20 years. My dad was a Northwestern Mutual guy, and we're in Cincinnati. Our agency is about 20 employees, 600 clients, kind of the sweet spots, 2 lives. Our largest is at 1,000. So it just gives you a little bit of landscape. So this year, I kind of set out to decide how we were going to grow our business. And I met Steve Nudelberg, who's in the back. So I titled this, You Want Me to Change, because this year has been crazy on behaviors that I've switched, and I just wanted to share those with you guys. And by the way, I walk, so I hope I do not fall off the stage. Okay. So to kind of start the presentation, what I did is I engaged with Steve Nudelberg after I heard him at Barnsley Gardens because I listened to the approach of relationship building and finding clients that would be a good fit. We do not have a producer in our office. Most of our business comes through me, or Cincinnati is just kind of that close-knit town. People that I know, we still get a lot of referrals from Northwestern Mutual, CPAs, and attorneys, but it worried me as how we were going to keep growing our brand in that Cincinnati market. You know, and I say, like, let's agree, people want to do business with people they know and trust. And a lot of us come from communities like that. And I remember Pat Kern, my old partner, saying, Jen, you're so lucky because when you get in your 50s, it's a sweet spot for business because a lot of your friends and people that you know own companies, or they're in a C-suite, or they're a CPA or attorney, and I've never had as much fun as I've had the last couple of years because that's really true, but how was I gonna let people know what I was doing? So, you know, friends, family, clients, colleagues, trying to build a network, and we all use LinkedIn, we all know it's a platform, but even though I'm up here speaking, and a lot of you that know me think I'm an extrovert, I've really had to get out of my comfort zone with this. And you wanna do like selective network building, so I'm not just accepting all requests. It's like, why am I accepting this and who do I want to go find? And, you know, just having commonality in Cincinnati of like, who do you know? Okay, so just connections and conversations. And Steve and I agreed it all comes back around. So when I'm meeting with people or asking to meet with them or talk to them, it's not, I never tell them what I do. And in fact, one time I sent Steve a message I sent, and he's like, you told him what you did, Jen. I'm like, oh, I did. I don't want to do that. Because it's about growing your network. Maybe it's a charity that I want to get to know better. Maybe it's a CPA or attorney. So that's kind of been the focus, but I truly believe it all comes back around. So building my brand, you know, strategic benefits, we have a brand, but in our office, each one of my team members, including myself, are building our own brands, right? Because the more people that know their brand and they know Strategic's brand, they're gonna wanna figure out what it's like to maybe meet us or work with us, because I truly believe there's a difference between clients and customers. Clients, you're developing a relationship, you make it hard to break up. Customers, it's just a transaction. Some of us in this room have lost groups where we're like, well, they were a customer, right? So just engaging them. So basically, when I'm building this network, I have to think about who we're going after and how we're gonna do it. And we started with LinkedIn and the post. You guys have probably, some of you, seen my videos. You have no idea how much I'm out of my comfort zone for what we're doing. I mean, literally, and I don't even, by the way, know how to take a selfie, like barely. Like I've had to ask people in the office, like, how do I do this? What button do I hit? But what I wanna show you guys, when we started on our marketing with LinkedIn, we hired someone that was doing outside marketing for us. We were posting 3 or 4 days a week. And when I started first working with Steve, he's like, what are you doing? He's like, come on, Jen. Every post you're doing is like every other broker firm down the street. So this was, I think this was just an article on 1/3 of workers might leave jobs. Like, okay, cool, that sounds really important. 139 views, 139. Probably 10 were people that worked in my office. So I'm like, okay. Maybe you're right, Steve. This one was probably a Wellness Wednesday. Kindness goes a long way. It was World Kindness Day. You know how we all we're on LinkedIn and we're trying to find what day is it? You know, is it Heart Health Month? 240. This was a big nonprofit. We have a ton of nonprofit clients, and I'm obsessed with trying to help them. So this was an event that they were having. We put 170, okay? I never looked at it. Never looked at it. We had this girl, she's posting. I'm like, okay, this is cool. What I had to do is get out of my comfort zone and build my brand. Like, who is Jen Homer? What's she passionate about? And how can I parlay that into what I do? Because I'm going to tell you guys, when people ask me about being in the insurance industry, insurance is boring. I have to feel like I'm helping someone. I absolutely have to feel like I'm making a difference. And that's why we have so many nonprofit clients, and we get them because I care. So this was a post, my son wrapping up 6 years of college football. But it's not like Facebook or Instagram where I'm trying to personalize, show a picture of Andrew finishing football. I always spin it back to work, motivation, and team. And this one has 11,000. So 125, 225, 11,000. I don't have it on here. The very first video I did after working with Steve was Andrew walking out on the field after 2 ACL tears. 2. And you got to remember, when you're tagging people, I'm tagging University of Cincinnati. We played the Bearcats. I'm tagging Miami University. That is where the traction starts, because people are like, oh my God, Miami University. Oh, he plays football there. Well, my son went there. In fact, I just had someone help him find an apartment in Fort Myers where he's moving because they saw that I was on LinkedIn, best friends with his coach, okay? Oh, talk about out of your comfort zone. This was a radio spot I did. I would have rather died here too. So this one was 6,544. And what I did here, iHeartMedia is the biggest media agency. They're national, but in Cincinnati, they run all the radio stations, all the media. DJ Hodge runs them, University of Cincinnati Department of Athletics. All of a sudden, everyone's like, oh my God, I didn't know Jen did that. So that one is, 6,500. And then this is kind of cool. At this table, 2 of those women are very good friends of mine. But back to what I said earlier, both own companies. Best friends for 25 years. They own businesses now, and now they're clients. So I tied this one back to just being blessed to having a career where my clients are their friends. And that one's 2,700. Bad day. No. And I got to tell you guys, I'm not obsessing over looking at the views, and I'm just showing you how it can just move. You can't just post and not think about why you're doing it and who you're tagging, but in our community, it goes a really long way. By the way, I had no idea how to put all those together, those slides, and my marketing person was gone. So then I had to beg Shay that works for Steve to put them in for me. So that's the state of my life right now. Okay, the next thing, back to my title. What, you want me to change? So COVID kind of started the whole path of virtual. I'm not a virtual person. And in Ohio, things opened up sooner than a lot of our communities, and I just was like so anxious to get back out. And starting to work with Steve, he's like, you just got to do virtual coffees, Jen. I'm like, what? I want to go see him. I want to drive there, and I want to talk to him. He's like, but why are you allowed to take that time from them? You don't even really know them. So part of this, when you're in LinkedIn, if you don't know, you can filter like unbelievable all the way down to CFOs in Cincinnati, companies, whatever. So I started going through who I knew. They will always take your coffee virtually. It's 10 minutes of their time. They will learn something new. So I had to get out of my comfort zone there, especially when you're dealing with C-suite, very, very busy people. And we've all been there where you show up. What if it's awkward? Like you drive all the way to have lunch. You got to sit there for an hour and a half, and it's kind of like, So it has been working. I mean, we're still doing face-to-face, but it's a great way to offer. Earlier I said, never say what I do. And I think a really wise person said, you start pitching, Jen, they're going to ditch. So kind of thinking about it differently, and just all about connection and community, I have a guy that I know run a company. I have a son coming in 2 weeks to try and help him find a job. Do you think I feel like taking the time to do that? Not really, but I'm going to, because I know it's all going to go around. This was a little idea Sarah, my marketing person, did. So I've been trying to get in with a huge church, and I was talking to Steve. I'm like, she keeps saying, I'm happy with USI. I'm happy with USI. And I'm like, and this is all on messaging. I'm like, I understand. I literally just want 10 minutes of your time to just meet you. I go to Crossroads Church. I'm very involved. You know, I kind of feel like I deserve that. So we sent this box. I looked a lot about LinkedIn as research, and commonalities before you ever talk to them is so important. And she was a Xavier grad. So we sent her this coffee mug, and Sarah's so cute. She put "fancy a coffee" sticker. So that went out about a week. Now she'll probably still ignore me. I'll let you guys know. But I just was like, okay, I never in a million years would have thought to do that. Not in a million years. Okay, and then my last thing is changing my mindset on my first meeting. Okay, how many of us in this room think our folders are really cool? Our fluffy folders that we stuff with a bunch of stuff. I do. I think mine is. Do PowerPoints. We've got all this prepared presentation material, because that's really been the world of insurance and brokerages. I feel like it. I always say to prospective clients, line up the stuff and it's all going to look the same, right? Maybe mine's a little glossier. So right after I started working with Steve, we had a huge meeting, big. Like, I was so excited about it. I'm like, oh my God, perfect timing. We're talking today. What should I bring? I got this PowerPoint. I've got my folders. They're really cool. We just ordered 500 of them. And he goes, why do you have a right to bring anything? You've never met them. You got an introduction. They already know what you do, because why are they having the meeting? Because you do benefits. You need to just go and learn about them. Oh my God, I didn't tell Steve this, but I did have a folder in the car, just in case. I panicked before I got there, because I'm like, David, we're not bringing anything. We're just going in. We were there for an hour and a half. Actually just got him as a client last week. Only later, because they were a 10-1 renewal and they wanted to get through it. Never, ever handed them a piece of paper the entire time. They don't even have a folder. So the other thing, because we don't have a salesperson, we all learn, like the old Northwestern days, it was red letter language. And the best thing Steve said to me is, and it's in his book, for those of you guys that are at Barnsley Gardens and probably read it, but out of every chapter it was, I just want to see if we may be a fit for you and if we can provide value. Because it turns it on them, like, well, what do you mean, Jen? Would we be a fit for you? But of course we are. You want to do business, but that's not always true, right? So it makes them think about, well, I want to be special. I want to work with them. So that language is so simple, and you can remember it. And it's a great way to just open doors and conversation, and really just kind of showing up at meetings and saying, if you have a genie bottle and you can look ahead the next couple years, what do you want to accomplish? Those two phrases is all I've been using, and we've had some really good traction with it. And I just kind of wanted to show you guys, based on really trying to brand ourselves, doing the LinkedIn, doing more personal, trying to learn how to do videos, me, scary, changing my mindset. This is, 20 years in, and I've totally revamped the way I've been thinking. But so Calvary Industries, the one I just described, they have 120 employees, amazing company. This brewery, we have another brewery client, a little bit smaller, and I got introduced to a younger HR gal, but then I found the HR person, and we just had a virtual coffee this week. She asked me so many questions. She's like, I really want to learn more about benefits. Can you help me? I'm like, what? I'm like, sure. Connected her with an HR roundtable. Probably 10 different things came out of it in a 10-minute, and she's so grateful to me now. I may never get it, or it might be another year or two, but it was worth capturing her time. This construction company, I just moved, and because of LinkedIn, I found out that Mike was like, oh my God, Jen, I get a message from him, you moved on my street. I live down the street, and I'm like, oh my God. That case, we did go have coffee, because there's a cute little coffee shop right down the street, but that one's in the works. But he never would have connected those dots had he not seen us on LinkedIn. And not our strategic benefits page, Jen Homer. And then lastly, we're really into nonprofits. There's a huge leadership council, and Jenny Berg reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, hey, I see you've been doing great things with nonprofits. I want to get together. So she's not a lead for a group client, but she's in charge of all these nonprofits. So that is in a span of since July, I think we started working together, and that's just a couple things. So, I'm kind of here to say, if I can change the way that I think and behave, and the way I want to close on this video thing, I'm 54, right? If you watch young business owners coming up, they're all doing video, They're all branding themselves. So it's kind of like if we don't change the way we think, we're going to kind of miss that whole train, right? Because if I'm a business owner at 38 or 40 or 42, and they're doing video and we're not, and I'm just back to doing my strategic post for 100 views, it's not going to work. Now, all of us are going to do marketing different, but if you feel like you like that approach, then I'm glad to talk to you. So I think, am I good on time?
You're good.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. That was fantastic, Jen. That was really good.